Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, or welcome along. Welcome along to the sunny, warm climes of the Suffolk countryside in the UK. And yes, we do have sunny, beautiful, warm days here. They're few and far between, but today is one of them, so celebrate it. Woo! Welcome along. If it's your first time here, this is what this channel is all about. It's me having a walk and a talk through lovely locations such as this. Speaking my mind and my thoughts and opinions on everything from art to politics and everything in between, obviously. So welcome along. For those 402 subscribers, I think it is, as of today, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. It's an honor and a privilege to have so many people joining me for this journey. And all the wonderful comments and likes and everything I get is just, it spurs me on to keep on making these videos. But for those who have been joining me, you'll notice I've taken a couple of weeks off. I have, with the information that I look at to prepare these videos, I have seen things that no person should ever see, and periodically I have to take some time to wind back a little bit and connect with my family and you know, take my head out of the screen and get away from the information, because it does get very overwhelming and too much at times with the information overload. So I had to take some time off, so I do apologise. I appreciate you being here anyway. Also, I'm back at work now, so the frequency that I can do videos is going to be cut down because of the hours that I work. I'm a chef for my job. It's not who I am. So you know, with the hours that I work, it's difficult to do as many videos as I have been doing. That, you know, for the last year I've been out of work. So now I'm back to work. It means I work a lot, which means I have less time to devote to doing videos. So I do apologise that the frequency will be cut down, but it is what it is. So bear with me if you will. But thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. So today I've been putting this subject off for quite some time now, because it is one of those difficult ones that it's hard to get a beat on, because there's so much conflicting information, let's put it that way. Conflicting information from so many different places that it's hard to know what the truth is, and I suppose that's deliberate. So the subject of today's little talk is disclosure. Now, disclosure is, for those of you who aren't involved in this kind of subject, the disclosure of what they're calling extraterrestrial technology and interactions with beings from, we're told, other planets. Now, I don't know. I'm not an insider. I don't know any insiders. I'm not involved in the industry. I'm not involved in space. Everything I'm saying today is my opinion based on everything that I've seen and read and heard, and my thoughts based on that. So, you know, take this with a grain of salt. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on everything that's happening at the moment, because there's a lot of strange things that are happening to do with disclosure, and I believe it's for a reason. So let's get into it, shall we? Now, we all wonder who we are, where we're from, what we're here for at some point in our life. We all do, you know. And, you know, if you're of a religious persuasion, I mean, it doesn't matter really what religion, you're of the belief system that God or a creator or consciousness or whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter the name, it's a game of semantics. Whatever your God, whatever you want to call your God or universal consciousness or whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter. It's a game of semantics. We're just playing with names at the moment that we came up with, people did. So if you're of a religious background, you would think that this world was created. God created everything in it, and that's where we came from. If you're from a religious or a scientific background, you would think of the Big Bang. Okay, now the Big Bang purports to say that the universe, as we see it, started as a Big Bang. First there was nothing. Okay, just like in the Bible, first there was nothing, and then from nothing a Big Bang happened, and that became the universe. The singularity, it all came from a singularity. Now, You know, I've described this before. Singularity is what? The one. You know, like people call God the Alpha, the Omega, the Singularity, the One. You know, whatever name you want to give it, doesn't really matter. It's the same thing. Now, as part of this, the scientific viewpoint is this is all just a lucky happenstance. We're just here. If the planet was any further away from the sun, we wouldn't have life, and all this kind of stuff that we've all heard before. And everything's just a lucky happenstance, and it's just fortunate that the solar system, the planet, and the universe formed exactly as it did, mathematically perfectly, by the way, to create life. And we're told only on this planet, as far as we know. So we have been told for decades that we've seen stories, we've heard stories, and we've seen pictures, always fuzzy, not very clear, pictures of what they used to call UFOs. Now they call UAPs because it's more scientific. I think that's why they changed the name. UFOs had a negative conspiratorial connotation to it, whereas UAP sounds a bit more technical. Unidentified aerial phenomena, it's called now, not UFOs, not unidentified flying objects, unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs. Okay. Now at the moment, we are hearing from everywhere, FBI, CIA, American government, many governments around the world, that UFOs or UAPs exist, and we don't know what they are. We don't know where they came from. That's the short answer that we live through, that we live by, if you will. And that's the story. That everywhere right now is the information is being released that UFOs or UAPs are a real thing. We don't know where they come from, and they're not human. Okay, not from this plane of existence, we're told. Now, I have a deep distrust for anything to do with governments and intelligence agencies. Namely the FBI, any alphabet agency, FBI, CIA, you name it, doesn't really matter. Government agencies, I don't trust them. So when we've got the FBI and the CIA releasing UAP files, it starts to make me go, why? Then we see the Navy coming out with video, the US Navy coming out with video where we have the UAPs buzzing the ships that they have. Then we have the UAPs buzzing the ships, the American military ships, and that makes me question even more, considering that the US Navy last year, released in November, released 3 patents to do with a what's the word I'm looking for? Anti-gravity flying machine. And I did a video about that a few months ago now. The anti-gravity flying machine that had its own power source. The US Navy released the patents for that in November of last year. Okay, so we have the patent technology is already out there that the American Navy has already released and said, we have this technology already. And then we have the Navy also releasing video of ships flying UAPs, whatever you want to call them, buzzing their ships in the ocean and then disappearing under the water without a splash or anything like that. Okay, so it makes me question and say, why now? Why are they releasing the information now? Why is it these organisations? Why now? It's a big question. Now, with everything that's going on in the last year, I'm sure you've been keeping up with all the lunacy that's been happening in the last year, based around the thing that we're not allowed to talk about, the Rona. all that. Plus, in addition to that, we have the election in the US on November the 3rd. That's all coming into question as well. We're going to do that another day, but this is about disclosure. But there is a lot of information that's happening, a lot of things that are being brought into the public awareness that we've been told wasn't real before. Now, I've always wanted to go to space since I was a kid. It was my big ambition to go to space. I loved the idea of it. I loved the thought of it going to a different planet. But many things over the course of my life have led me to question not only the reality, the veracity of the information that we're being told, which is that we're the only intelligent life in the universe, that there's been no aliens or extraterrestrials or beings from other planets or from anywhere else. We've been told for decades that there's no such thing. After Roswell in, was it 1942, I think it was, when we had a supposed crash of some alien craft that we're told was a weather balloon. There's a few issues with that story I have as well. I was watching a documentary about the Roswell crash a while ago with my children. Now, when we had there was interviews with people that were on the site where this crash happened, the apparent crash, and they said there was a material that we've never seen before, some kind of metal like a tin foil that we've never ever seen before, and you couldn't rip it, couldn't break it, couldn't tear it, but it was scattered all over the ground. But it was a weather balloon apparently, right? So the problem I have with that is, let's just say, for instance, that it was a weather balloon, and it couldn't be torn, it couldn't be broken, couldn't be, how is it in pieces? How is it in pieces all over the ground? If it couldn't be ripped, couldn't be torn, couldn't be broken, how is it in pieces all over the ground? Now, I've looked at so much information from so many different angles of this story about, UFOs, UAPs, aliens, extraterrestrials. There's a story, there's a few different people that promote this. Corey Good, I think, is one of them, who talks about the secret space program. Now, we're led to believe that the secret space program has been going for decades, that humans have been space-dwelling beings for decades, and that we have technology that allows us to live on the moon and Mars now, right? And that we are interacting with the Galactic Federation. And the Galactic Federation is a group of extraterrestrials from different planets that share information, and we got their attention by traveling with technology into space, okay? Much like Star Trek, the Star Trek story. So we're told that the secret space program exists, and that and that's been going on for decades. Now, I have a problem with that. Many problems with that, the secret space program, in that, okay, we've got all this technology that we're living on other planets, okay? We're living on other planets, we can travel through wormholes and what have you, and all this kind of technology that we're told by people like Corey Good and many others that exists, but yet we still have people starving here on the earth. And we're still living under tyrannical governmental systems. There's evidenced by what we've been living through for the last year. So I take issue with the fact that they say there's a secret space program, that we're out into the universe and we're living in different planets and all this kind of stuff, and we have this technology that allows us to do it, but we're still not able to solve, what would be simple real world problems using this kind of technology on the earth now. So, I'm very skeptical about that. I'm also skeptical about beings coming from other planets. Okay, now I've said to you before, I did a talk about, are we living in a simulation? Okay, now I'm going to come back around to that. Now, I have an issue with these beings that we're told are coming from other planets. Now, if you think about it, we've been told through movies and these kind of media that, we see all these movies where aliens come from different planets and their technology is far beyond anything we have here. And so they come down and conquer us and, basically kill everyone and rape and pillage the planet. That's how the movies depict aliens from different planets, okay? But, really, would a species or a race from a different place that's so technologically advanced that they can travel millions of miles in space through what we're told is an inhospitable environment to life, so they're able to overcome these challenges of traveling through space and time, but yet they're going to go and conquer a planet that that technologically is pretty backward where we are. I don't buy that either. I'm very skeptical about advanced extraterrestrials from other planets coming here and killing everyone and taking over, using their technology that's far in advance of what we have. It doesn't make any sense to me. Much like the Council of Nine, the Council of Nine, the Galactic Federation. We have all these super advanced beings that we interact with, but they're fine with interacting with some people from this planet, but the rest can live under tyrannical rule and starve and all these kind of things. It doesn't make any sense to me. Now, this is where things take a bit of a turn for the strange. This is, I'll be forewarned. What I do believe is that we are living in some kind of simulation. This is my belief system. We're living in some kind of simulation, that we're not in space. Okay, that there is no space. I told you it would get weird. That we have, what we're told through string theory, through multiverse theory, is that every possibility exists simultaneously right here, where we are. You can literally, anything can happen. You can make it happen by your interaction with how you interact with this reality that we experience as reality. Okay, so I think that the other dimensions are coexisting in our time, space, whatever you want to. I don't know how you conceptualize that, but the alternate dimensions exist simultaneously, and that means every possibility exists. Every possibility. So when people say to me, "Oh no, it can't be that we're living on a flat plane and that there's no space and there's no aliens," well, of course they can, because if every possibility exists simultaneously, then that possibility, we could be living in it. Who's to say that we're not? Then you cross over to something like the Mandela effect. Go and look into the Mandela effect, it's wonderful. And are we changing timelines into different realities all the time? Of course we are. So is there a possibility that we could be living in a simulation where we're living on a flat plane where there is no space and no aliens and alternate dimensions exist simultaneously? Of course. Are we living in that one? Who knows? I have no idea. But what I believe is what we experience as aliens, extraterrestrials, whatever you want to call it, is alternate dimensions interacting with ours. Okay, so alternate dimensions where there are different entities from different places that are not dissimilar to where we are, but have had a completely different path to their creation, and that they've come through interdimensional doorways to this reality that we experience as reality. That's what I think. Okay, now there's many reasons why I think that. The whole space thing doesn't make any sense. NASA. The fact that NASA spent hundreds of millions of dollars on weather changing technology kind of makes me question why. Weather modification technology, NASA, Google it yourself, have a look. You know, don't believe me, and you need to go and have a look at this information. All I'm going to do is present information. Then it's up to you to go and choose and decide what is real and what's true, what you believe. Because at the end of the day, your perception is your reality. You know, so you know, you have to make up your own mind. All I do is I talk about what I think, and then we have some discussion in the comment section or over on Telegram. Have a discussion there. About your belief systems, and we try and find something that makes sense. That's what this is, you know. So there's many things about NASA that, you know, there's lots of videos online that you can see where astronauts, okay, we'll call them that, who are supposedly on the space station, are suspended on cables, on wires. In harnesses. Why would you need that? If you're in a zero gravity environment, why would you need to be in a harness and on a wire, on a cable? It doesn't make any sense. You know, and if they're doing that, if they're lying about that, what else are they lying about? You know, there's many questions about this whole space thing that doesn't make any sense. Like, why have we not been back to the moon since the 70s? You know, there's nothing there. What? What are you talking about? Everyone's talking about Mars. Oh, we're going to Mars, we're going to Mars, we're going to Mars. You know, Elon Musk doesn't shut up about going to Mars. Oh, we're going to Mars. Why has nobody gone back to the moon? Why? You know, and then people have asked NASA technicians and said, you know, can we have a look at the telemetry, the flight telemetry of the flight telemetry data of the first manned moon mission? No, we haven't got it anymore. It's been destroyed. Yeah, and then there's other technicians who say, oh, we go back to the moon in a nanosecond, but we destroyed all that technology, and it takes a lot of money and a lot of time to build it back up again. I mean, so you know, we've got all this technology around us, the telephone that you're looking at right now, or the computer screen. You know, that technology that we have now, and we can't go back to the moon, and then we never ever see the other side of the moon, which is weird as well. Very odd. So there's many things that make me question the reality of this whole extraterrestrials coming from other planets. What I think they actually come from is in alternate dimensions. And some of those dimensions are, you know, we've heard about David Icke talking about reptilians. Possibly are. Maybe there are people in you know, important positions, royalty positions, perhaps. Who knows? That come from that race, from a different alternate dimension. Some I've heard are avian or bird-like people, if you want to call it that. So you know, that's what I think is alternate dimensions rather than alternate planets. And the reason that we're having all this disclosure now, anybody who's been involved in this UFO, UAP disclosure arena for any period of time would have heard of Dr. Stephen Greer. Dr. Stephen Greer ran a project called the Disclosure Project, where they went before Congress. They've been before the Canadian government as well, I believe, trying to get the governments of the world to release the technologies that they hold, that they say comes from alien interactions. You know, now there's other things as well, interdimensional portals and things that Trump has said and things that other people have said as well about the wall. And the wall wasn't just this thing between Mexico and America. Anybody who thinks that is so short-sighted and one-dimensional, it's unbelievable. The wall was much bigger than that. Yeah, what Elon Musk was doing in space, okay. With the satellites, the Starlink satellites. What was he doing there? What was that forming? You know, a barrier, a wall, perhaps? Who knows? But yes, I think, this disclosure happening now with all the agencies and governments and everyone talking about alien technology, well, not human technology. What we need to understand is we have technology that exists right now here in this plane of existence that we inhabit, that is well beyond anything we can even imagine. Any problem that you think about, it's already been solved. And I do mean every single problem, to the garbage out of the ocean, clean drinking water, crops, 3D printing food. Every single problem that you can possibly imagine has already been solved. have the technology already. We have it. I have seen the patents. I've posted the patents under my videos of technology that exists. Med beds. Where does that come from? You know, where does that technology come from? So if it's not coming from interplanetary beings, maybe it is, then it has to be coming from somewhere, you know. Is it coming from interdimensional? Now, why do I speak so much about interdimensional beings and entities and things like that? Now, if anybody who's looked at quantum computing knows that quantum computers use interdimensional power to compute for the computations of the quantum computer. Okay, interdimensional. Now, there's been much talk about interdimensional portals and doorways. Anybody who's ever heard of what's it called? The Looking Glass project. You want to have a look into that as well. Looking Glass project. You know, these technologies exist. That means we shouldn't have the problems that we are told we have in this world. You know, the technologies that exist that we know about. You know, like the patents that were released by the US Navy, the Looking Glass technology. None of the problems that we experience now, we don't need to experience any of them, but we still do. And why is that? And why is disclosure happening now after all these decades of people asking for this technology to be released? Why now? Well, it's a distraction, of course. Like I've said in a couple of videos before, everything's a distraction. It's all about distracting you to look over here, don't look over here, you know. What we're experiencing right now is a worldwide financial reset. They're trying to hide it with everything from I can't say the V word, can I? The thing that we've been living with for the past more than 12 months, and we've been locked down for. You know what I'm talking about. We can't talk about it. That is a major distraction because that's all we ever see on the TV. The election stuff is all a distraction, political. All the stuff that's happening is a distraction. So is the disclosure, right? So what I'm expecting is when information starts to come out about people doing bad things, is there a possibility that we could have a alien invasion? Yes, of course. With technology that exists right now in this plane of existence that we don't know about. Operation Bluebeam. Have a look into that. That's interesting. Hologram technology. Touchable holograms. So yeah, I think this whole disclosure thing that's happening right now as we speak is a distraction or a way out for what I think is coming, the storm that I think is coming, that I've spoken about many times, about politicians, about you know, bad actors, including actors, singers, these people that have been doing terrible things, the things that I've seen, the things that I know of. When that information starts to come out, I think we're in for something like an alien invasion or something like that. That's what they have planned, and that's why the disclosure is happening right now. There's also talk about worldwide energy grid hacks. We're talking about, you know, there's so many different things in the media at the moment that I just think this is just another one of those where they're saying, yes, of course, UFOs are real. We don't know what they are. We don't know where they came from. There's not human technology. Why now? That's the question I keep asking. And if we do have this technology, who's controlling it? And why aren't we using it for the benefit of mankind, for all of us? That's the question. Now, my message to you through all this is you can decide whatever you want to believe. I mean, I'm not telling you what's true, what's real, or anything like that, but you get to decide what you believe. But the most important thing we can do right now is to not panic. Don't worry about all the things you see. Don't worry about all the things you hear. Don't worry about it's the end of the world. You know, if things start to come out of the sky, don't worry about it. It's not a problem. It really isn't. And the only thing that we should be really scared of is drifting apart and being out of touch with everybody. We need to stay in contact with our friends, our family, and with the people around us, just even the neighbours, to make sure that people aren't getting freaked out by events that are happening and information that's coming out, because if this kind of information came out, how would people react? That's the thing we need to be very, very wary of. So all that said, take some time to interact with people around you, talk to people, give them some love. You need some. We need to share as much love as we possibly can with everyone around us, because we're going through a difficult period at the time, and this whole disclosure is another distraction. So be prepared for it. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here, and I shall look forward to seeing you real soon. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Ciao for now.